All right, what's good this morning, man? Happy Monday. Start this week off with some good boxing talk. We're going to talk about Terence Crawford, Gary Russell Jr., and compare them. Because, man, I've been hearing some stuff, dog, and I think y'all got the wrong idea about what's going on. So we're going to talk about that. Then we also going to talk about Deontay Wilder and the heavyweight division. We've got to keep doing that, man. Sorry. Every day that I hear somebody acting like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are about to fight and how Dillian White needs to fight, Deontay Wilder and Dillian White would be such a great fight. No, dog. I'm not going for the mental fuck job. Sorry. Keep your mental phallus up out of my head, dog. It's not happening. That man is in court. Nobody knows what's going to happen in court, but more than likely, dude, those fights ain't popping off, just like I told you those fights weren't popping off before. But let's get to it, man. What's going on? Viva Tu Vida in the building says, salute Martin and everybody in the chat. Salute to you, sir. Always pleasant to have you here. Boxing fan, U.S., Puerto Rico. Let me know if that means Puerto Rico. Said, good morning, fam. Captain Martin, many blessings. Let's get this boxing talk fix on. Hey, by the way, boxing fan USPR, we have a project that was requested of us, and it is to talk about the treatment of black fighters in the amateurs. So, as you guys know, we've been doing a lot of promotion of amateur fighters on the Instagram, and when we're looking for the people that are considered the top American fighters, most of them are not black fighters. However, most of the really quality American fighters that come out into the pros wind up being black fighters. So in the next thing that we do, the next production that we're doing, we're going to be analyzing that problem. So if any of you guys know or have a lot of experience with amateur boxing and want to contribute to that, it would be greatly appreciated, because we're going to do it similar to what we did in the sneaky punch stuff with when we did the expose on Tyson Fury's cheating up until the Deontay Wilder fight. We're going to do the same thing with USA amateur boxing and its treatment of black fighters. If after a significant amount of research we determine that there's basis to that, or that there's some really something going on. And obviously, we live in America, so the chances of something not happening like that are smaller than we would like. So what's going on? King Jr. in the building, Harold Jones, Black Alpha in the building, Cedric Smith in the building. What's going on, man? Eric Holt says, salute, Martin. Watch every day. Love the content. Keep it up. Thank you. That means a lot, man. Thank you very, very much. My man Chris Chandler in the building, Todd French in the building, J Dub, TJ Sports Nation in the building. What's going on, man? All right. So let's chop it up. Let's get it here, man. We'll wait till like 100 people get in the building. Early Sunday, early Monday morning. Not a lot, not a whole lot of stuff going on in boxing that the casual boxing fan would be interested in. But let's start the discussion here. Terence Crawford is most definitely digging his own grave in boxing, dog. Like, I can't see, like, he's getting to the point, man, where I don't see. It's gonna be hard for him to get himself out of it, unless he fights Errol Spence, dog. Yes, sir. Cash App is yeah, that is it. For non-boxing. Let me know if you have a problem sending it to that, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Act Like Nation says, showing love from the new home of boxing, Grand Prairie, Texas. It is. Texas has got boxing popping, dog, and they got it popping without gambling, which is pretty exceptional. I did a video yesterday, Act Like Nothing, that you might like, though, because, I got a comment. I keep getting comments from people talking about Canelo Alvarez and how, Canelo Alvarez sold these 40,000 tickets and how he's, going to sell out his fight for Billy Joe Saunders. And in the video, obviously, Canelo Alvarez is a very popular fighter. And so the first thing that I want to do is just say, obviously, he's a very popular fighter. One of the most popular fighters, the most popular Mexican fighter for certain. One of the most popular fighters in boxing for certain. However, the numbers are not out on that dude as far as his pay-per-views and the sales and the interest in his fights for at least the last 2 years, probably 3 years, since we've really ever seen what the numbers are, because that's how long he's been over there at DAZN, for like 2 years now. So right now, I don't know whether or not how big he is, because they don't release the numbers. However, I will definitely say, obviously, he is a big name in the sport of boxing. But so is Errol Spence Jr. And people act like, and I know you've heard this, right? Canelo is fighting Billy Joe Saunders, right? He sells these tickets. Errol Spence fights Mikey Garcia. And for some reason, Mikey Garcia is the one that sells all the tickets. It's like, how many tickets do you think they would sell for Canelo if Canelo fought a better competition like Jermall Charlo? He would probably sell 50, 60,000 tickets in Dallas Stadium. That's probably what he would sell, right? He would sell the capacity. So unless you have Errol Spence Jr. fight there, and he did against Danny Garcia, and that place was, every ticket was sold that they were allowed to sell. And that place had people all over it, but gapped. So you can't tell me that Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia couldn't have sold that place out. However, people don't want to give Errol Spence Jr. the credit, because Errol Spence, for the only other reason, this is the only reason they won't give him the credit. He's black. And they say it. They flat out say it, because he's black. But know how they say it the other way around, right? You got to flip it. They say, oh, because Mikey is Mexican. That's why the ticket sold. So it has to be true that the tickets didn't sell because Errol Spence was black. Do you see how you just flip it? And if they say one thing, the other thing has to be true. So they say Mikey Garcia sold those tickets. Why? Because he was Mexican. Oh, so this must be true. Errol Spence Jr. didn't sell those tickets because he was not Mexican, or because he is who he is black. That to me is just it. And here's the dude is actually from that hometown. They did the same, and they do the same thing with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury ain't never sold tickets for shit in the United States. But for some reason, when Deontay Wilder fights him, all the sick tickets were sold because of him. You get me? So it's just like that. You can't get out of that logic. And that logic is racist. Flat out racist. Somebody said something I want to see. What's going on, Todd French? Boxnard 805 says, shout out from Oxnard, California. Shout out to you, man. They do that boxing out there in Oxnard. Did the Garcias move from Oxnard? I know the Garcias were in Oxnard. TJ Sports Nation, I'm hearing Crawford will have a fight set this week, either Thurman or Pac. Hey, have it set. It's not going to be Pacquiao. It ain't going to be Pacquiao. If it's Keith Thurman, that's something nice. I'll take that fight. I will definitely take that fight, because that makes sense. Ted French, I don't think the numbers are good, and it's hard to equate how good Canelo numbers are, because the numbers are probably mashed in with other sports on DAZN. It's very debatable. No, it's really not debatable. There's no debate to it, because the way that they're judging ticket sales for everybody else is they're looking at the raw views. They're looking at the raw views. And DAZN does not have the views, because DAZN doesn't have the subscribers in the U.S. They don't. They don't have Showtime. Showtime has what, like several million subscribers on Showtime. And that's why and Showtime releases their numbers. DAZN does not have the numbers to say for people to watch it. Until now, when they open up and except for in this regard, when they open up DAZN and let people from other countries watch the fights. So if DAZN in Canada, the people in Canada can watch the fight. I do believe DAZN is available in the UK now, so people in the UK can watch the fight, right? But that doesn't say anything about their popularity in the United States. says absolutely nothing about it whatsoever. You know what I mean? So, I mean, objectively speaking, Errol Spence Jr.'s numbers are as good or better than Canelo's over the last 2 years. But for some reason, he doesn't get credit for his own popularity, right? Just like Deontay Wilder does not get credit for his own popularity. Deontay Wilder's name has not gone anywhere in defeat. His name is the hottest name in the heavyweight division without even, and that shit is crazy because really in the US, don't nobody care about the heavyweight division. It seems like they just kind of like want to outsource it or something. Anyway, let's get on to the subject matter of the video, man. And that is Terence Crawford. Crawford should have a fight, should have that fight to Gary now. He won't have a dance partner worth paying to see. At least that fight had a backstory. Well, here's the comparison I wanted to make to Gary, about Gary Russell Jr. and Terence Crawford. Both of these guys get a lot of slack. A lot of slack. But they get slack for like the opposite reason. Like literally the opposite reason that they get the slack that they get. Gary Russell Jr. gets a lot of slack because people say that he doesn't fight enough. Right? And that he could fight twice a year. And Al Heyman gives him fights and he turns fights down. So he winds up only fighting one time a year. And that is Gary Russell Jr.'s fault that he only fights one time a year. And as a result, his stock isn't what it should be. Right? That's the logic. With Terence Crawford, it's the other way around. Terence Crawford fights twice a year, but refuses to fight the people that actually want to fight him. Right? Keith Thurman wanted to fight Terence Crawford. Sean Porter said no. Terence Crawford said no at a point. Right? Errol Spence still says he's open to fighting Terence Crawford, providing the money is there. What does he say? What's going on, American Patriot? He says, I'm not interested in it. Right? So both of these guys are getting the sweat, but I'm having a hard time understanding. I can understand the sweat that goes to Terence Crawford, right? Because Terence Crawford, at least by what they're saying, is actually refusing to fight guys of a certain quality, right? Or certain people, right? Refused to fight Sean Porter, now saying he's not interested in Errol Spence Jr. Who did he want? He wanted Manny Pacquiao, right? That's the guy that he wants. I can understand people criticizing him for that. With Gary Russell Jr., I don't get it. Because if Gary Russell Jr., first of all, nobody can tell me that Al Heyman has given him offers for him to fight Leo Santa Cruz, for him to fight Abner Mares, for him to fight Carl Frampton, for him to fight, at the time he lost, Josh Warrington, right? I've not heard any conversation really about this guy that beat Josh Warrington fighting Gary Russell Jr. for that belt. What I hear about Gary Russell is that Gary Russell won't fight guys that he think are bums. He says there's a bunch of guys I could fight twice a year, but the guy's no good. So what good does it do for me to go out there and beat this guy up that sucks, right? And then people complain about me cherry picking, right? And I don't stay fresh. And I'm going to fight the guy that the WBC says is the best guy until I'm offered a fight against one of these guys that are champions. I don't see anything wrong with that logic. Because what's going on, J Mack in the building? Salute to you. Brown on Boxing, salute to you. Would you like to see Keenan Burley said, would you like to see Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz? Of course. I think those guys are the best two young welterweights. I would love to see that fight. I wish that I could see that fight before there's any type of conversation about Virgil Ortiz fighting for a championship or Jaron Ennis fighting for a championship. I would love that fight. I think that fight would do wonders for the career of the winner. And if it's a real battle, it'll do justice for both of the guys. And I think that the winner definitely would have much more stock in the championship fight that he gets, right? Because then there would be a big demand for it. But those guys have to be willing like Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones Jr. were early in their career. They have to be willing to put it on the line in an early part in their career. And I can tell you for certain, I've really not heard either one of them mention the other guy's name. Now, I know Jaron Ennis is just the type of guy, and so is Virgil Ortiz, really. Not the type of guys that are going to be calling out and getting in people's faces and doing a lot of that stuff. Like Jaron Ennis specifically, actually, dude, I think Jaron Ennis is too underspoken, right? Like too underspoken. Like he's like, yeah, man, I'm ready for everybody now. Like doesn't matter to me, and doesn't matter to me. It could be whoever. So you can't get Jaron Ennis to say, yeah, I want the Errol Spence Jr. fight next. Like Errol, just think about it. Jaron Ennis, after he beats Sergey Lipinets, right? Because I'm confident he's going to beat. Yeah, Quan 43 say, salute Martin, but Jaron going to hurt him. That's not, hey, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes. But Robert Garcia has a lot of faith in him. And Robert Garcia says that Virgil Ortiz right now can beat Terence Crawford or beat any of the top guys at 147. So, that's the word of Robert Garcia. That's the word of Eduardo Garcia. And so if that's the case, and if they really believe that, well, hey, Jaron Ennis, if you can beat Terence Crawford, ain't no reason you shouldn't be willing to fight Jaron Ennis, right? If you can beat Errol Spence Jr., ain't no reason for you not to fight Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis has not proven in the ring that he's a harder fight than either one of those guys, at least in the ring, as far as, it's early in his career, right? Not talking about what you see in his skill set. So, there's no reason not to make that fight. I just wish that Jaron Ennis would call him out. Be like, look, man, I can't get a championship fight. They say they say that Virgil Ortiz is the shit. I want Virgil Ortiz. Let's make it pop right now, Virgil. I'm open. The championship fights, they're tied up. You got Errol Spence fighting Ugas. You have Terence Crawford. Is straight out telling you you're not ready, right? Terence Crawford straight out saying Virgil Ortiz ain't ready. Got all kind of holes that I would exploit, all of that, right? And honestly, your people ain't going to put you in there with Terence Crawford yet. So why not Jaron Ennis, right? Imagine that Jaron Ennis did the same thing that Devin Haney does with calling people out, like getting on them and doing all that stuff, right? Then he could easily create a stir himself for a Virgil Ortiz fight. But Jaron Ennis ain't that type of dude. I think what he believes is that his skill set is going to reign supreme, and he doesn't need to do that. So he don't need to do that. So he's just going to whoop everybody's ass until, he gets the belts. He's just going to take that route. Now, Fannon, did you get your third stimulus check, man? I don't get stimulus checks, bro. I don't get them. So no. I got the first, and after that, they didn't send any more because they made a mistake. They probably made a mistake sending the first. So, because all that shit's going to do is wind up getting me taxed on the income in a year. So I ain't really tripping on that. I'm not really tripping on that. That shit is problems. Accounting problems. Great fight, Ennis versus Ortiz. No doubt, man. No doubt. Let me see. Abdullah Brooklyn said, Fannon, isn't it about building and becoming better by fighting the best fighters? I think that people have their own interests. I think they have their own interests. Some people say no, it's about the championships and it's about the money. And that's what they want to do. And it's hard to argue it against them because you got guys like Jake Paul out here having big pay-per-view events calling himself a boxer, which honestly is a fucking insult, really. Like, that dude is not a boxer, dog. Like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are in the ring with gloves, but dog, that dude is not a boxer, dog. That dude should not qualify that is not a professional boxer, man. I don't give a fuck what you say. That dude, that is a kid. That is a young kid that is very popular, putting some gloves on and throwing fucking punches around. That's what the fuck he is. But he's making more money doing that shit than most boxers, real boxers are, who has spent years and years perfecting their craft. For us, it is about entertainment. For us, it is about entertainment. It's about entertainment for the fans. But the fans are entertained by the sport, right? And if you're not playing the sport, then people are going to lose interest in it, right? Like the NBA. Dude, come on, man. How many game sixes are the Bulls going to fucking have? Like, come on, dog. You can't tell me that shit could have been done in 4. You know what I mean? Like, for real. That's what turned me off from basketball, because the sport itself is extremely entertaining to me. I love seeing dudes cross dudes up. I love the game of basketball and watching how the game of basketball is played. But once you turn it and they try to make it entertaining, that is the people playing the game that is determining what is entertaining. The very nature and structure of competition is entertaining to people that want to see competition. But when you start playing with the rules and you start doing different things, you don't make it about competition anymore. You get what I'm saying? The job of the athlete is to compete for the entertainment of the spectator. It is not your job to entertain the spectator. It's not. It's my job to determine whether or not I am entertained by what you do. You see what I'm saying? Do what you do. Do what you do to the best of what you do. And what you're doing in there is competing. It is a man-on-man competition that other people find entertaining. Don't skip to trying to entertain me. No, dude, play the game. I'm either going to like what I see or I'm not going to like what I see. But if everybody is playing fair and everybody else is doing the best that they can, dude, you're going to find that shit entertaining, especially if you know the people involved. The very fact that Gary Russell Jr. and Gervonta Tank Davis get in a ring together, that's going to be entertaining because there's going to be a bunch of tension around that for the people that know those camps. I'm telling you, it's the manipulation. It's the manipulation of the fans for the purpose of making certain fighters profitable. That's the problem. They manipulate the situation in order to make a certain fighter, right, benefit from it, which is why they keep lying. They just lie so much. They lie so much that has to be that has to be the reason. They start with their result. Oh, what's the result we're looking for? We want Canelo Alvarez to be the biggest fighter in the world. That is our goal for him. So how are we going to do that? We're going to make sure that he fights certain people that make him look good, right? We're going to make sure that we give him a lot of promotion. We're going to, that type shit. And then, because the whole scenario is laid out favorably for him, he's going to have a higher likelihood of success. Where if you didn't do that, then you would just have to rely upon straight competition between people. That is when people get their senses heightened. And that is what, think more deeply about it. Like, what Terence Smooth said, hi, you soldier, what's going on? What's up? My man is in the building. Batman in the building. Said, John Page, what's up, Fannon? Hi, you soldier. I'm chilling, man. What's good with you, soldier? Out here just trying to do what he got to do. Smooth Groove Boxing says, salute, Fannon. Miss you, my dude. Glad I was able to catch the show. What's good, man? Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And thank you so much for supporting what we do over there on the Instagram, because your super chat goes to paying for the documentaries that we're doing. The next documentaries that we're going to be doing are going to be on the YouTube page, and one of them is going to be covering the treatment of black amateur fighters. And then we're also going to be doing a special one that I'm not going to say because somebody's going to jump out and try to bite the shit and have it out before I get it out. You know what I mean? So that other one, you guys will see. But it's going to be historic, and, you know, you'll like it a lot, I do believe. My man in the super chat, Justin Quinn in the building, said, is Thurman done at age 31? No, I don't think he is. He's very fresh. He's very fresh. He's taken several years off. You know, what I would like to see with Thurman is for him to get stronger. And I do believe that it's important for him to be completely healed, right? And I don't, you know, there's a lot of people that don't believe what he got to say about this, that, and the other thing. But, you know, hey, man, all I can go by is what the man said. And I do believe that, you know, he doesn't really follow up with that left hook, right? And he sounds honest when he says it. So, you know, when people are on top, they can be a little bit more bullshitty than when they're on the slide. You know what I mean? So he's on the slide, and I think what you'll see is more honesty out of him. And I do believe that he's going to grind, and he'll take a tough fight too. OC Wagon, man, much love in that super chat. And thank you again for the super chat, Justin Quinn. And thank you, OC Wagon, for the support, for supporting the Instagram and supporting the projects, the video production projects that we have going on in the channel, man. Thank you very, very much. David Carr said Canelo versus Yaldemir was the cherry pick of the century. They tried to hide it behind a concert and fireworks. Yeah, well, you know, I think it was it was a very well-paid sparring match. And I think Canelo and those guys at DAZN did it on purpose. What I'm hoping is that Canelo's just fighting his way out of his contract, right? And taking the fights that DAZN wants him to have, because Yaldemir, who are they trying to appeal to, right? With a guy like Yaldemir. Well, DAZN is now in the UK. DAZN, I believe, if DAZN thinks they're gonna crack the US market, they're nuts. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 years now, dog, and you ain't flying yet. Fuck up out of here, dog. That shit ain't gonna crack in the US like that. Especially when I'm sitting there in the middle of the afternoon and on any day. I don't care. If I in the United States of America, the best show that I'm gonna get out of DAZN is this month is gonna be a UK domestic card. I can't see a lot of other people being willing to pay that. Like, quite honestly, I really did enjoy that. I enjoyed the card. And I enjoyed the card a lot. Like, all the way from Chris Congo looked like shit. But, Chris Congo looked like shit. But besides Chris Congo looking like shit, you know, I like Hatton. I like that cat, Fabio Worley. I liked him. Definitely like the fight between with Ted Cheeseman. Really good fights. Very entertaining. Now watch this. Very entertaining fights. And why were they entertaining? Because those dudes was trying to kill each other. Straight up. Like Ted Cheeseman and whatever that dude's name was, them dudes was going for broke. And that was a heated competition between two guys that knew each other and did not like each other. Or Ted Cheeseman felt was insulted that people had him be the underdog against that guy when Ted Cheeseman's 24 and he's like 32, right? But whatever it was, you could tell the tension in the building. You could tell the tension. You could say JJ Metcalf, thank you very much. You could tell the tension, and you could tell like that the announcers were calling it right down the middle. Just, you know what, the classic stuff that UK boxing is known for, dude. Just a great environment, without a doubt. But, you know, they're not trying to manufacture the career of Ted Cheeseman. You know what I'm saying? That ain't manufactured, dude. He got in there against a guy that tried to whoop his ass and was close to his skill set. Same thing for Chris Congo. Even though I didn't like how he looked, the whole fight was competitive because those guys were equal level. And that guy was a little awkward southpaw. If Chris Congo had the ability to pick and choose who he fought for that belt randomly, he would have never fought that guy because he's a herky-jerky southpaw. Really herky-jerky southpaw that wings punches and mugs you. Do you think that you're going to see that level of fight for, against somebody in the United States? Ted Cheeseman beats Jamal Charlo. Yeah, but see, they didn't, after Ted Cheeseman won, and much love in that super chat to Marcus the Villain, man. Thank you for supporting the Instagram and the videography projects that we have, promoting fighters, the amateur fighters, the pro fighters, and the retired legendary fighters. Thank you very, very much, Marcus the Villain. Thank you for helping us keep the channel in the red. So in the green, sorry. Yeah, but Ted Cheeseman beats Jermell Charlo. They never acted like that. Not for a fucking second, dog. Like, in fact, in the commentary, it was very, very, I loved it. Because they were like, yeah, Ted Cheeseman, you're the man, you're the man. You won the, what was that, like the Lord Long, please no disrespect intended. But it's like Lord Longfellow belt. Something like that, the Lord Longfellow belt, right? A traditional belt in the UK at that level, right? Now, they were like, but let's not get it confused. The real guy is Liam Smith. Is Liam Smith at 154 pounds. That's the best guy in this weight division, and Liam Smith has been the best guy in that weight division for many years. So right when Ted Cheeseman won, they were not confused, and they didn't let the audience be confused. They said, really great performance out of Ted Cheeseman. He showed a lot of different variations. Hey, thanks, Jack C. Ted Cheeseman showed a lot of variation, right? He didn't just plod forward, right? He also, pretty much in the middle rounds, took some rounds off, rested, and let JJ, I'm sorry, I'll just call him JJ, and let JJ dig a hole for himself, right? And then when it came to the championship rounds, Ted Cheeseman stepped on that gas and got him up out of there. You know what I mean? But that was a great performance for Ted Cheeseman at a very exciting fight. Man, I really enjoyed it, but they never confused him with being on the level of even a Liam Smith, right? But what would we do in the United States with something like that? With something like that, he immediately, right? Ted Cheeseman at 154 immediately would be better than Jermell Charlo. Immediately. Oh, he's better than Jermell Charlo. He's better. Don't you see his combos? Don't you see how tough he is? Dog, yeah, I see all that. I see that against JJ McClanahan. Forgive me, I got to go back and get his name right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that ain't Jermell Charlo, though. That's like 3 levels of difference between the two of those guys. 3 levels of difference at least. Because, dog, none of that shit's flowing against Jermell Charlo. None of it, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't appreciate the fight that Ted Cheeseman has and be entertained by it. Because I was more entertained by that Ted Cheeseman fight, way more entertained by Ted Cheeseman's fight than I was Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin. Because quite honestly, dog, Alexander Povetkin looked like he was dead walking in the ring. Like, dude, he didn't look solid at all. Like, his footing was completely gone from the first minute of that fight, man. And I'm telling you, dog, I'm getting a little sick of that shit. I'm telling you, I'm getting a little sick of that shit. The next time somebody just walks in the ring in a fight against a UK fighter and they involving a UK fighter and they don't have no fucking legs from the first fucking minute, I'm going to start saying they fucking with people's water, dog. I don't give a shit. That is 3 people I now know. 3 heavyweights. Deontay Wilder, Alexander Povetkin, and Dillian Whyte who are the 3 people? Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, and now Alexander Povetkin have all gotten in the ring and had their legs gone from the minute the fight started. 3. Now, tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Okay? Anthony Joshua was rumored to have had a panic attack in his locker room, right? Drew Titan talks about that. That people and I got calls about that. They were like, dude, something was wrong with AJ when he came up out of that locker room. They saying he was freaking out. He wasn't ready to go. his dad at the end of the fight tried to punch Eddie Hearn for having him fight, right? That's one. Those are facts. That event took place. Eddie Hearn damn near got punched by Anthony Joshua's father in that ring. Okay, so that's one. Deontay Wilder, you can say he blamed it on his helmet or whatever. Went into that ring with his legs gone, walking in the ring. Third fight now, Alexander Povetkin walked in that ring with his legs gone. Why are so many heavyweights getting into the ring with their legs gone? I'd like to know. I don't understand it. I've never ever said that I knew for sure that Deontay Wilder was poisoned. I don't know that. I would need to see the toxicology reports for that. I never said, that Anthony Joshua was freaking out and that something was wrong with him. Other people said that. And I'm not the one saying that Alexander Povetkin's legs were gone. Everybody's saying that. And they're saying, oh, it looked like the COVID. It looked like he didn't recover from his COVID in time. Dog, 3 at 4, fuck you. That's where I am. At 4, fuck you. Okay? One more time. A heavyweight gets in that ring involving a UK fight, and they have their legs gone before that fight starts. Something's going on, dog. Something's going on. And something is systematic. Because at this point, you can predict somebody's legs being gone. Why would Alexander Povetkin get into the ring still suffering from the symptoms of COVID? To begin with. Why would the WBC sanction that fight? To begin with. I'm sorry. You have COVID, and it's dangerous to get into a ring with a big hitter like that and not be completely healthy. We're going to need to make sure that you are completely back from COVID. Why would the WBC sanction a fight where they know somebody is still dealing with the effects of COVID-19? Dude, J-Mac, watch this again. This one is COVID, right? But his legs were gone. Deontay Wilder could have been the helmet. I don't know, but for some reason, legs gone. Anthony Joshua, legs gone. Tommy Hearns, legs gone. Somebody rubbed his legs down. Why would somebody, Emmanuel Stewart, irate about why somebody would rub down the legs of Tommy Hearns before that fight. Now, I've always wondered about that. Who would have been able to rub his legs down? Who would have been able to rub his legs down? And they would have had to do that out of protocol. Because if Emmanuel Stewart says that ruined his legs, and clearly his legs had not been ruined before, and he had had many fights, why did they do it that day? Why would they do it that day? Kind of odd, ain't it? Makes you think. Makes you actually think. Dude, there's a lot of crooked shit goes on in boxing. But the irony of it is that the crooked shit only happens to white people. That's who the crooked shit happens to. Other than that, let the crooked shit roll, dog. Let the crooked shit roll. According to the media, because they still will not report on this stuff. What's going on, my Aries Sports Podcast in the building? TJ Sports Nation said, yeah, Povetkin's legs were gone. He was wobbling like a noodle. Yeah, man. And he was checking the gloves. Yeah, Damon Smith says, salute, Martin. Ali was blinded. Yeah. Dude, they cheat. Like, they cheat. But everybody's supposed to sit around and act like they don't. Right? Boxers have to sit there and act like they're like people don't cheat. Like, oh yeah, you know, I really was looking at the tight. I laugh every time I hear this shit. Every time I hear it. Like, oh yeah, I was seeing the Tyson Fury fight, and you know, I thought Deontay Wilder was gonna beat him, but hey man, Tyson Fury really showed me something extra in that fight. Yeah, like no padding on his fucking gloves, dog. What are you talking about? Like neck holds and chokes and shit. What are you talking about? Yeah, of course he had some new shit. It was called exactly what he did to Steve Cunningham after his ass got dropped. He used his size and cheated his ass off. You know what I'm saying? He used his size and he cheated his ass off. That, my friend, is not Hermetic philosophy, dog, okay? Not difficult at all. You know what I'm saying? That is booger pick flick type shit. Dude, you know goddamn well that man cheated. Why don't you just fucking say it? You know? Why don't you just say it? And we know why you won't say it. Because you won't get a fight. Because you won't get a fight. You don't say that for the same reason that people don't say anything about sexual assaults that happen at work. Whole bunch of people can see a girl get attacked in a fucking bathroom. Walk by and not say a fucking word to any fucking body. Because they're like, damn, that's fucked up, but I don't want to get involved in that shit. Because why? If I get involved with that shit, that means everybody's going to attack me. I'm going to put myself in a situation where that guy is going to attack me. He's going to attack my reputation. He's going to cause me problems at this job. I'm going to be disliked by his friends. So what do? They walk by and act like they didn't see. You're going to walk by and act like you didn't see is what you're going to do. Just like in the hood, you see a dead body laying out in the ground, what you going to do? What you going to do? If you go by an alleyway and you see somebody just laid out, know what I'm going to do? Leave. Leave is what you're going to do. Leave. If you don't know who that person is, you're going to leave as quickly as you can and go the fuck home. That's what you're going to do. That is what you're going to do. You're going to see that shit, you're going to go home. Why? Because you know whoever put him there will put you there. And then you're going to have to put yourself out there and risk your life, risk your family's life, right? Put yourself in all kind of issues with your job because you might have to go to court. And you are going to walk on and let the police find that and not get involved. That is what human beings do 9 times out of 10 in that situation, right? So why would you expect people in boxing to do anything different? See the mistreatment of somebody and walk away. It's just too much stress to deal with it. Too much stress to deal with it. Even asking and calling for fights that you want. That's why, quite honestly, I give a lot of credit to Terence Crawford, man. Like, that man got balls, man. Like, he's got balls, dog. Somebody throw Dank Father out of here, dude. Thank you. Bye. Frampton Herring, who do you got? I want Jamal Herring to win, but he's going to need to beat the fuck out of Frampton to get that. Well, he might get a fair deal. I'm leaning toward, I think Frampton is the better fighter at this stage in their career. I believe Frampton is the better fighter. It being outside of the U.S., that bothers me a little bit. You know what I mean? Greetings, brother. Please let us know, where can we follow up on the court mediation between Wilder and Fury, because there is nothing around the mainstream media. You're not going to be able to follow up on that other than to know it's not over until Deontay Wilder makes an announcement. As of right now, there's really no update to have, right? There's really no update to have because they're in a private meeting that has been going on for 4 months, and when they get done, you will know for sure what the ruling is because all of a sudden, boxing media will get responsible. Out of the fucking blue, they will all remember the arbitration clause. A mediation arbitration clause. Out of the blue, they will know, oh, this means this is going to happen. All out of the blue, right? For a year, they won't say shit about it, act like it ain't happening. But if it's in favor of Tyson Fury, the second that happens, they're going to give you all the details in the world and act like they knew that shit was going on the whole fucking time. C-Cut, I'm chilling, man. Doing my thing, man. Feeling good. Life is lovely, dog. Out here at 8:46 in the morning with a good group of people, man. Abel Meharry Nation Sports Podcast. I like how people think cheating doesn't happen in boxing until it happens to them or their favorite fighters. We know the fake noise and the real truth. People know cheating happens in boxing, and they accuse people of cheating in boxing every fucking fight. Every fight, they're accusing somebody of cheating. How many times has Teddy Atlas accused people of cheating? They accused Adelaide Bird of cheating by having a wide scorecard with Canelo Alvarez over Gennady Golovkin. Didn't they? Accused her of cheating, tried to run her out of boxing. They try to run every judge with a scorecard they don't agree with the fuck out of boxing. If one of their fighters has a referee and that referee does something wrong, they try to throw that referee out of boxing for cheating. What's the guy's name that refereed Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev 2? Light-skinned dude with the little box, speaks Spanish. Him. I'm sure you guys can put his name in the comment section. That ref, they tried to throw his ass out of boxing. They tried to throw him out because they said, oh no, too many low blows from Andre Ward. He was in on it. He was bribed. Tony Weeks said they made CJ Ross retire. Stop. These same people accuse people of cheating in boxing every fight, dang near every weekend. They're like, oh no, that didn't really count. Like, for example, right? The judges in Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 1, they accused them of cheating. They accused the UK judge that had it a draw. They accused him of cheating. In Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder won. But they didn't, but with Tyson Fury's glove hanging half off his hand, they can't see that shit. They can't see that. But they saw the scorecard. Dude, the idea that any of these guys believe that there's not cheating in boxing is stupid. Everybody knows that if you went down, I see, that's why sometimes I wish, and I would never give interviews like this, but I swear to God, if I ever caught one of these dudes in a situation where they had to answer my questions under the penalty of getting locked up, ain't no fucking way they getting out of it. First of all, sir, would you say that cheating is how would you characterize cheating in boxing? Occasional, or what's between occasional, consistently, or pervasive? Which one would you say? Would you say that it happens every once in a while, but it's not a big deal, it's a one-off? Would you say it's something that happens consistently, like enough to be an irritation and where you know it's going to occur? Or is it rampant? which means it's in every goddamn portion of the sport. Guess what most people would call cheating in boxing? Rampant. Rampant. Steroid use in boxing is referred to as rampant. For you dumb niggas, that means it happens all the fucking time, every fucking where. Like weed smoking in college is rampant. It's not the occasional kid that takes a puff. No, it is fucking rampant. Everybody is getting high. You know what I'm saying? It's the exception. It's the exception when somebody's not. Think about it. In college or in the streets, how many people get high? If you smoke nicotine, you're getting high. That shit'll buzz your head. If you are doing cocaine, you're getting high. If you're drinking, you're getting high. If you're taking opioids, you're getting high. Quite honestly, if you run as hard as you fucking can and exercise like you crazy and your fucking body starts feeling great, nigga, you high. You high on endorphins. You just getting high on endorphins through exercise. You know what I mean? So that the desire to elevate your mind, right, or elevate your feeling beyond your current state is rampant, okay? So don't tell me that you don't do it. Or better yet, don't be acting like you surprised when somebody gets high. Stop acting like it's a surprise. It's not. Just find a better way and less harmful way for people to do it, okay? How about the people that are on drugs and want that? You make sure that they can get it in a way that doesn't harm their body. How about that, right? But switch it back on to boxing. So don't tell me with cheating being rampant in the sport that somehow I'm crazy or other people are crazy because they see a fist at the top of a glove. You people are just the gaslighters. You're the people that are there to protect the cheating. You are there to legitimize the cheating. That's what they're there for, to cover for the cheating. Where are the articles about connecting something that is obvious? Right? Three fighters in the heavyweight division, major fighters in the last 2 years have come in major fights for them, complaining that their legs were shot before they walked in. Before they walked in the door. At heavyweight, where people can knock you half dead or completely dead. There can be money made from corruption. Well, there is a debate to be had about whether or not it's corruption or not. Because corruption would entail you having something different than the purpose. I think organized boxing is meant to be this way. I think that it is designed to be this way. And that most of the parties involved in it understand that. And they act like it clearly because they siphon off boxing into 4 entirely different worlds. Literally. They think about this, think about it metaphysically. They break up boxing into 4 separate worlds. World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, World Boxing Organization, International Boxing Federation. 4 completely different, separate boxing worlds. That is monadic. That is monadic. And that is by design. Because it allows you to maximize profits and limit legitimate competition. It makes the outcomes of fights far more predictable, far more repeatable than if you were just to have a situation where it was a tournament. That would become volatile and it would make it harder to have consistent, victories in predictable manners for fighters. It would make it more difficult to build fighters up and take a tremendous amount of time building them up because they would be called to task much earlier. Like, for example, basketball. You ain't got no time to develop no fucking basketball player, dog. They better be fucking ready to go when they 17. If they ain't ready to go when they 17, they're gone. Ain't nobody waiting. Unless you 7'9", ain't nobody waiting around for you to get it when you're 24. They got a team. They need you to be able to do right now what that team needs you to do. If you cannot get that shit done, they will cut your ass and throw you the fuck out. Right? But not boxing. With boxing, it is, and it's a different sport and good reasons to do it. You prepare them over longer periods of time, and now they're champions before they have a legitimate fight. Champions before they ever have a legitimate fight. Ryan Garcia is a champion before he ever had a legitimate fight. Tion Bynum said, salute Martin Blackwell, prime versus prime, no corruption. Roy Jones, Canelo, how do you see it going? Roy Jones by knockout. Roy Jones by knockout, 6 rounds, tops. 6 rounds tops. Can't imagine him getting out of there because Roy Jones is better at everything Canelo Alvarez does. A prime Roy Jones is way too fast, way too strong, way too mobile. Way too mobile. And too awkward. You don't know what he's going to do. He will destroy Canelo Alvarez. James Toney would destroy Canelo Alvarez. If James Toney was at 160, a prime James Toney was at 168 or at 160, Canelo Alvarez would still be at 154. Ain't no way he's fighting that dude, bro. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. He gonna get knocked out, beat up badly. Beat up badly by James Toney. And Bernard Hopkins. Hey, salute Fannon. You see that Francis KO? He's not human. No, I've not checked it out yet, dog. But I hear it's Deontay Wilder-esque. Dog, Roy Jones can't take a punch is bullshit. Roy Jones couldn't take a punch after he came down from heavyweight. After he lost all that muscle, that's when Roy Jones had that problem. Dude, if Roy Jones couldn't take a punch, Roy Jones wouldn't have beat Bernard Hopkins. Roy Jones beat James Toney. Stop. Canelo is not on that level, dog. He's not on that level, dude. Not of those guys, man. Hell no. B-Hop would beat the piss out of Canelo Alvarez, man. Canelo out, dude, first of all, Canelo Alvarez is 5'8". He's 5'8". He does not have tremendous foot speed. He has excellent upper body movement, and he pot shots. If he fights like, did you remember the fight where he had Gennady Golovkin too? If he fights James Toney, anything like he fought Gennady Golovkin, it's a fucking wrap. Okay? It's a wrap. Canelo got a chin like a mug, dog. He has a chin. But, dude, he was getting yapped by Gennady Golovkin. Dude, James Toney, that's just a different type of beat. He'll beat him up, dog. He'll beat him up. Like, beat him up. I don't even see that shit as a close fight, honestly. And to me, it sounds a lot like when people say, and you guys ain't gonna like this, but that many people not gonna like this, that Floyd Mayweather Jr. would beat Sugar Ray Leonard. No. I will take Sugar Ray Leonard over Floyd Mayweather Jr. any day of the week in a fight. Any day of the week, dog. Give me Sugar Ray Leonard in that one. Because Sugar Ray Leonard's hand speed, and his power and his size, if you thought Marcos Maidana caused difficulties for him or Jose Luis Castillo caused difficulties for him, he ain't pot-shotting Sugar Ray Leonard, dog. He's too small. He's too small to do it. And Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm telling you, dog, that shit is, if Sugar Ray Leonard, nope, it's still TBE, no chance. At 140, he was never at 147 in his prime, John Norrie. That's what you're missing. He was never in his prime at 147. He wasn't. He was in his prime at 135, 126, 130, 135. That's the prime, that, and at 140. Up till about 140. After that, dude, you never got to see. You never got, man, you are high, Fahim. No chance. No chance, dog. Too little, dog. Too little. I'm telling you. Too little, and Sugar Ray Leonard cracks and is a killer, too. Sugar Ray Leonard, dude, can fight on the outside, and he can just blood and gut you, too. He will blood and gut you, dog. And I'm going to tell you somebody else that I think Floyd would beat. But, dog, don't act. Yeah, exactly. Like you say, I stay that way. You know it. Somebody else, I'm telling you, dog. Duran. Roberto Duran, dog. Do not think Floyd is some easy money over Roberto Duran, dog. He ain't. Definitely a lightweight, dog. That is no easy money, dog. That dude is going to be in for the fight of his fucking life with Roberto Duran, man. So, you know, I just think we get caught in the moment a little bit, dog. You know what I'm saying? We get caught in the moment, right? We remember the greatness of Floyd Mayweather Jr., and we want to celebrate it. Because, shit, Floyd can fight his ass off, dog. He can. And he was definitely the best 147-pound fighter when he was there, right? He was. I think he would have beat Oscar De La Hoya at any point in his career. And that says a lot, dog. 7 rounds tops, dog. 7 rounds. They'll stop it on cuts. 7 rounds, Ali. 7 or 8 rounds tops. Marciano gets stopped on cuts. Gonna get his ass whooped. Destroyed. Humiliated and embarrassed. In fact, I'll take Sonny Liston over Rocky Marciano by knockout. I'll take Sonny Liston over him. But, you know, he got a lot of grit, though. Rocky Marciano's got a lot of grit, and he can crack. So, you know, if Rocky Marciano gets his hands on Ali, if he's able to really crack him up top, then, you know, hey, man, you may see something. You may see Ali get a little woobly. But I don't think so, because the dude had a great chin. I think you'll see him get up and whoop that dude's ass worse. Joe Louis and Ali. Because Ali knows Joe Louis. Ali knows Joe Louis. So that particular one, I'll take Ali. I'm taking Ali over everybody except for the people that I don't know for sure. Like, I don't know about Sam Langford for sure. I don't know about, but Sam Langford did have a lot of problems with, God, dog, what is the name of that tall heavyweight dude? I'm so bad with the heavyweights of that era, man. But, you know, anyway. Didn't Leonard lose to a smaller Duran? He did. He did lose to a smaller Duran. And then he beat the piss out of a smaller Duran. And then beat Duran ass again. I think he was 2 out of 3 with Roberto Duran. But that's Roberto Duran, dog. That's Roberto Duran. I just said, dog, that's Roberto Duran. That's not, he didn't have a problem. He didn't have a problem with Wilfred Benitez. You know, he didn't have a problem Oh God, I don't even know. Hearns, unless Crawford catches him. So there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance that Bud could get Hearns. Because he'll just fucking fly off and hit his ass with something. But as far as if he can't get to him, he's going to lose a lot of rounds. Because Tommy Hearns is a great boxer, dog. Tommy Hearns is a great boxer. I didn't miss a super chat, did I? I thought I saw one. A primed Floyd dissects Leonard. You're tripping. Leonard had no defense? You know we're talking about Sugar Ray Leonard, right? We're not talking about like Leonard Ortiz. We're not talking about, like Leonard McCallum or some shit. We're talking about Sugar Ray Leonard. What do you mean he has no defense? Hey, man, come on, man. Don't do that, dog. Don't just come out here just throwing shit around, dog. Holyfield Frazier. Junior, excuse me, I'm killing Holyfield Frazier. I think I'll take Frazier on that one. Because they're both infighters. They both like to fight up close. And I think that the size, that being at about 6'2", I don't think that's out of sort for Joe Frazier. So I would probably say Joe Frazier. Because I don't think Joe Frazier really has a lot of problems with cats like, but then again, Joe Frazier, I have to look at his career a little bit more than that. But dog, he's a beast, man. Off the top, I would probably say Frazier though. In that, because of the matchup. I don't think Holyfield wants to have no Dwight Muhammad Qawi type of fight. With Joe Frazier. You know what I mean? That back, and even the fight where he was fighting Mike Tyson, I don't know, dog. Dog, you're praying, dog. You're praying for that, dog. You're praying for that. You praying for that one. I don't see it, dog. Hey, Fannon, I'm 58. I've seen most of them. Floyd is the smartest fighter of all of them, nullifying fighters' weapons. Dog, you could be 195, dog. I saw the tapes. No. I saw the fighters, dog. I saw the fighters. No. I don't see it happening, dog. Dude, have you ever seen Floyd Mayweather Jr. stand next to Floyd Mayweather Sr.? Have you ever seen them stand together? Please note how much bigger how much bigger Floyd Sr. is than Floyd Jr. The man is almost a head taller than his son. Sugar Ray Leonard is a big boy compared to Floyd Mayweather Jr. And when have you ever seen Floyd fight that type of fighter at 147 pounds, dog? Come on, man. No. He ain't fighting nobody like that at 147 pounds, man. Not a guy that's going to go up to 175, man. The size difference in those guys is significant, dude. No. I'm not taking him. You can take him. You can take him. I'm not taking him. Because I know that dude is really a lightweight. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a lightweight, dog. He's a lightweight. He's a lightweight. He's not a welterweight. He's a lightweight. He's a lightweight. No. And he fought guys at 147. The vast majority of them were former lightweights, former 140 pounders, right? Look at the people that he fought. Manny Pacquiao is a lightweight. He is. Robert Guerrero, lightweight. Victor Ortiz came up from 140 and is a straight bum. Juan Manuel Marquez, lightweight. Where did Miguel Cotto start his career? 140. He ain't fighting guys that started off at 147, dog. And definitely not fighting guys that were at 154 and came down to 147. No, he never fought those type of guys because he's not dumb. He ain't dumb. Sorry, dude. Floyd will tell you He's saying, look, my job, and is he the greatest fighter ever? He may well be. That particular argument about whether or not he's the greatest fighter of all time is different from saying, would he beat every welterweight, right? Those are two different things. Because say, for example, you believe that Floyd Mayweather is TBE, that he's the best ever. How much money are you going to put on him and a fight with Rocky Marciano? How much money are you going to put on that fight? You think Floyd's beating Rocky Marciano? Please tell me. Please, man, Canelo. That's Canelo. And he didn't beat the shit out of him. He won the fight, dog, because Canelo Alvarez was pot-shotting with him. The fuck out of here with that, dog. Canelo Alvarez, that's Canelo Alvarez, dog. That ain't Sugar Ray Leonard. That is, first of all, that's Canelo Alvarez. That's not Sugar Ray Leonard. So we can stop right there. Canelo Alvarez is not Sugar Ray Leonard, dog. Like, no. You know what I mean? No. He's an extremely good fighter. But no, Sugar Ray Leonard ain't playing with you, dog. First of all, his hand speed is nuts. His hands are faster than Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s. Faster. And he's got put you to sleep power. Like, people forget that about Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard has the power at 147 to turn your light switch off. Yeah. Off. Okay? Off. He ain't somebody that's just out. What happened with Tommy Hearns? When Tommy Hearns was outboxing him. 6 foot tall, right? 6'1", long range, crazy power, was outboxing Sugar Ray Leonard the entire fight. What did Sugar Ray Leonard do? He said, fuck it. Bow! Nigga, get out of here. Go watch the fight. Sugar Ray Leonard was like, fuck it. Bow! And got him up out of there. Okay, dummy. You're tripping. Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't even as good as Hagler. First of all, he beat Hagler, but let's leave that alone. Second of all, do you think Floyd's beating Hagler, dummy? Dude, you just make your shit worse. Do you think Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going to beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler? Faheem Satur. Do you think, I'm going to ask because L. Thomas ain't going to have the nerve to answer that one. What do you think will happen in a fight, Faheem, with a fight between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Marvelous Marvin Hagler? Brutal beating is the answer to that shit. Brutal beatdown. Brutal beat down. Brutal. So, just because Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't as good as Hagler does not mean he won't whoop Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s ass, dog. Dog. Where Faheem at for that one? Where you at, Faheem? Where you at, Faheem? Come on, man. Don't duck the smoke, dog. I got Faheem. See, I'm going to use L. Thomas to get on Faheem. Where you at, Faheem? He would beat him like a fucking drumstick, dog. That shit would be, he wouldn't take the fight. Let's just say what it would happen. Floyd would not take that fight, dog. No way. Okay? Because guess what? Do you know who Gennady Golovkin is, L. Thomas? Do you know who Gennady Golovkin is? Floyd wasn't about to fight. I said, Faheem ain't co-signing that shit. Come on, Faheem. He said, Floyd. I love it. Oh, Faheem said Floyd outboxes Hagler in a catchweight fight. Fuck out of here. Yeah, catchweight of 100. Yeah, Marvin Hagler's going to come down to 149. Yeah. He going to drain him to death, dog. No, sorry, beat down like ain't nobody's fucking business type of beat down, dog. So, fuck out of here. Floyd versus B-Hop. Look, man, no. Okay, stop. The dude's a lightweight. Give him his credit for the lightweight, dog. Like, what would he do? Like, he could beat any lightweight. Like, what lightweights would you say? Like, was Henry Armstrong, Henry Armstrong at lightweight, Roberto Duran at lightweight. I'm sure there's some other lightweights that I'm obviously going to miss, right? But if you take Floyd and you have Floyd fight them, oh, hell yeah, that shit's on and cracking. That shit's on and cracking with anybody at lightweight and Floyd. Even like somebody that I think is a tremendous lightweight fighter, Shane Mosley, right? But dude, that's another guy. Floyd beat Shane, right? What weight did Shane start at? Lightweight. At lightweights. Even fucking Oscar De La Hoya. What weight did he start at? Lightweight. Lightweight, dog. They're not big like these guys, man. They got them tweener weight classes, but it does go from lightweight to welterweight, though. It should go from lightweight to welterweight, dog. Dog, Floyd will beat the piss out of Edwin Villario, man. That is the one fight that I hate did not happen. Floyd would have beaten Edwin Villario half to death. Wouldn't have been a close fight. Would have been an absolute fucking joke. That's how bad he would have whooped Edward Villario's ass. Okay? Why you bullshitting? Adrian Bronner would have beaten Edwin Villario. Adrian Bronner would beat Edwin Villario. At lightweight, Terence Crawford would have destroyed Edwin Villario. Edwin Villario was a wild man. Very strong, very aggressive, but he's a wild man, dog. And so at a certain point in time, dude, a guy with enough skills is going to get you. If you look at the Edwin Villario fight against, what was the guy's name? Antonio DeMarco. Dog, he didn't do Antonio DeMarco super dirty. Because Antonio DeMarco is a solid boxer. They could keep him off with a jab, keep him off with a straight right hand, make him pay for getting wild. I think he may have caught him at the end of the fight, but dude, he had problems with Antonio DeMarco once he started stepping up. See, the thing with Edwin Villario is that he became a bit of a cult hero in around the time that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was fighting Jose Luis Castillo. No, when he was fighting Diego Corrales. That's around the time that Dougie Fisher and those guys started trying to sell Edwin Villario, right? They were like, no, just kind of like they're selling Monster Inoue. This is not the first time. It's not the first time, that they've done this, right? They bring up Monster Inoue. What the fuck has Monster Inoue done? He's not that impressive to me. You know what I mean? He's a good fighter, very good power, but dude, he's not. I'm sorry, that dude looking at him fight looks nothing like Gary Russell Jr. to me. Looks like nothing like Gary Russell to me. I think Gary Russell Jr. is way levels above Monster Inoue. But the media is going to push it like Monster Inoue is this big superstar. And that's what Dougie Fisher was doing with Edwin Villario. But what happened with Edwin Villario? He winds up being a fucking nut job, right? Winds up being a nut job. They said that he couldn't come back into the country and fight anymore because he had some surgery on his head. Who the fuck is hitting you to where you got to have a goddamn metal plate in your head, dog? He was a fucking common thug type dude from, where is he from? Not even sure where he's from. But that wound up coming back to bite him, and he wasn't allowed to come back to the United States. But they were trying to push Edwin Villario ahead of Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's what they were trying to do. Similar to the way that they try to do with Nonito Donaire or other fighters that these guys try to sell over legitimately high-skilled fighters. Venezuela, thank you very much. But I definitely remember him, and I thought, this guy has got a lot of power. He's very, very aggressive, but the man was stone cold crazy. Stone cold crazy. But he got outboxed and was losing, in my opinion, to Antonio DeMarco. So why in the world would I think a guy that has difficulties with Antonio DeMarco is going to do anything other than get pieced up by Floyd Mayweather Jr.? Valario got in a motorcycle accident. Okay. Why'd he die? Why'd he die? Let's see. Edwin, I'm sorry, the dude seems like he's a killer to me. Maybe I'm wrong. But honestly, that's what his life sounds like to me. How did he die? He committed suicide, dog. He did not die from a motorcycle accident, homie. He committed suicide. Suicide. Yeah, he did. He offed his family, then committed suicide. Most time I've heard that. Sonny Liston committed suicide too, didn't he? Yeah, okay. Dog, I'm of the disbelieving type. The most likely scenario is that somebody came in and killed all of them. I'm sorry. Whenever I hear these things where people are like, oh yeah, it was a murder-suicide. Okay. Or it was just cold out killing. And they killed everybody in the place. And got him last. That's my understanding of how that shit be going. You out there in Argentina, you gambling, you're gambling. I'm not saying this is him. I know of this happening to other people though. You out there gambling, right? Gambling on fights, gambling on basketball games, gambling on this and that. And you come out owing somebody some money. And they say, I want my money. And you say, F you, I ain't got your money. Row! Murder-suicide. That's how they do it in certain parts. I don't know why you think everybody that was suicided actually did it that way, but okay. You just in some foreign ass country under pressure and out the blue, you just decide, I don't want to live no more. I'm loved. I got a bunch of money. I just don't want to be here no more. Yeah, okay. Somebody else, but cartels don't exist down there, right? Sure. Anyway, the guy was a thug from everything that I could see. The guy was just a boilerplate thug who got into the ring, had a lot of power, had a lot of heart, had a lot of strength. He came to the United States and they tried to act. And Valario, they was a little sweet too. I didn't know that. But, that's the world we live in. I ain't trying to hear all that fantasy shit. Personally, I ain't trying to hear all that fantasy shit. Valario was a very, very solid fighter, dog. Oh, my God. Paul Spadafora versus Bud at 140, I don't know. I can't say I know. That a prime Paulie Spadafora never got to be the best that he could be. I would say Bud, but honestly, Paulie Spadafora is a monster, dog. That dude was a monster and absolutely stone cold crazy. So the combination of them two is really good in the ring, man. That kid's big. He was a very, very, very good fighter, man. I like Paulie Spadafora. He just got hooked up in, he got hooked up and stuff, It's unfortunate, but definitely, dog. One of the better American fighters that just didn't pan out because of things outside the ring. Yeah, he said Paul's lack of power might have been his problem. Yeah, that could be it, but he's a very, very well-rounded fighter, man. Very good on the inside, could box. If I recall correctly, I thought he fought in both the orthodox and the southpaw stance, but I could be wrong about that, man. Fannon, he almost in the grave. Who's almost in the grave, man? Sweet Pea versus Bud Fannon, Pernell Whitaker. I think Bud would have a very, 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 very hard time with him. Pernell. Actually, Pernell and Floyd, I take Pernell. I take Pernell over both of them. I think Pernell beats Crawford, and I think Pernell Whitaker beats Floyd Mayweather Jr. Sweet Pea is just immaculate, man. He's immaculate. That's all I'm saying. Sweet Pea is immaculate, dog. You're gonna have to show me something. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to show me him losing to somebody before I'm gonna say, yeah, I'll take that dude over Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea's defense is so good. He's so good, man. So good. And he can crack. And he will hit you. Like, Chris Colbert, to me, is like a poor man's Sweet Pea. Just, and I think so highly of him, dog. Dog, he had plenty of power at 135, dog. He didn't have the power at 147. At 135, dude, he's cracking people out at 135, dog. Matter of fact, let me just quickly verify that. But I'm pretty sure at 135, he's still a monster at 135. He's better at 135 than, god dang, he held that welterweight title for a long time. Ooh, he held that lightweight look how long he held that lightweight, dog. Yeah, dog, he never fought in anything but lightweight, dog. And he got that shit fast. Wow. He got that belt fast. He got the IBF lightweight title. He got the WBC lightweight title in... Is that 11 fights, or am I just missing another page on this dude? I'm probably missing another page. I gotta be missing another page. Dog, I'm not missing another page. Shit, he got that shit fast. Nah, man, I'll take him, dude. I'll take him, dog. No joke. James Toney, Marvin Hagler. James Toney. I'll take James Toney over Marvin Hagler at 160 if he can make the weight. If he can't make the weight, that's something different. Yeah, Floyd, I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. Floyd could turn around and beat these guys, and I could be wrong about it. I'm not so certain that Floyd couldn't beat Pernell. You know what I mean? I'm not positive of it. However, 135, Shane Mosley versus Floyd, I would still give it to Floyd, but man, he's just a fucking monster at that weight class, dude. A true monster at that weight class. Brother Benjamin said, man, the whole boxing industry going in on Bud, blacks, Mexicans, ESPN analysts, everybody. Yeah, that's why I like Bud. I'm riding with Bud now. Team Bud, damn it. Nah, I'm joking. But I'm kind of serious, dog. See how it is? I'm telling you, he's killing it. But I like it, though. I like that he's willing to stand there in the cut. Shows a lot of character out of I don't agree with any of it. Right? Like, I don't agree with his stance. But that's his business, right? It is his business. He's the center of his universe. It's his business. I may not like it, but one thing I can say, I definitely can appreciate his right to be stubborn. You know what I mean? Trice said, you're right about Leonard and Floyd. Would Floyd get Sweet Pea? It could happen. It could happen. But I would say don't... Oh, shit. Depends on the time of the career. Jones versus Ward depends on the time of the career. Anytime but Jones's absolute prime, I'm taking Andre Ward. And honestly, dog, I might just take Andre Ward, period. I don't know, man. A really good... I might have to go with Andre Ward. I might have to go with him, dog. I might have to go with him. But that's a real tough fight to call. But just the technical superiority of Andre Ward, and it's just, I don't know, dude, because I think he'll be able to if he can get near him. If he can make it a fight, I'm taking Andre Ward. But it's so tough, dog. I got to get out of here after this one. Much love in that super chat said, Juan Vaughn said, Felix Trinidad versus Bud. I'll take Felix Trinidad. That left hook is going to land, and that left hook is going to get him up out of there, dog. And Tito's got a chin. So and Tito's too big. Tito's too big. That left hook is so ugly that if Bud slips up, Bud's going to sleep. I think he's going to have to move and stay away from from Felix Trinidad the whole time. But that's my take, dog. Man, Andre Ward got a lot of power, dog. Didn't you see Andre Ward clip Chad Dawson? Yank. He just beat you up, but he's got power. But look, I'm out of here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Everybody in the super chat. I'll check you guys out tomorrow. And with that, I'm out. Peace.